You ever hear a laugh that makes your blood run cold? Mine came through the phone speaker while I was sitting at my office desk, sipping stale coffee and pretending to care about quarterly reports. My wife, Vanessa, the woman I married 7 years ago, was calling me from the first-class cabin of a transatlantic flight. "Babe," she giggled, her voice honeyed and high on champagne. "First class is so worth it. They even give you warm towels for your hands. Isn't that crazy?" I stared at the screen. Her location read 35,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean. "Where are you going?" I asked, my voice flat. I already knew the answer. I just wanted to hear the lie. She giggled again. "Spa retreat in Santorini with the girls. You know, detox and girl time. Don't worry, babe. I used your platinum card like you said I could. You're the best husband ever." She laughed again. This time, someone in the background laughed too. A man. Deep, confident. Not a friend. Not a flight attendant. A boyfriend. And I saw red. My mind spun back through the last 3 months, her late-night yoga classes, the hidden perfume that wasn't hers, the sudden passwords on devices she used to leave open, the cold shoulder, the way she stopped touching me at night like I was some kind of burden she was stuck with. I didn't scream, didn't cry. I just smiled. "That's funny," I said slowly, "because I canceled that card 3 hours ago. You should be getting the notification any second now." She paused. I heard a chime in the background, maybe her phone, maybe her boarding screen. The champagne laughter stopped. What did you just say?" I said, "Enjoy your flight, sweetheart. Drinks are on you now." Then I hung up. It was that laugh that did it. That condescending, smug little snicker that said she thought I was too dumb to notice, too soft to fight back. And I had been for too long. I'd played the doting husband while she played me for a clown. I leaned back in my chair, fingers steepled under my chin, and for the first time in months, I actually felt something other than confusion or pain. I felt alive. Let me tell you how we got here, because this wasn't sudden. Vanessa didn't just wake up one day and decide to spit on everything we built together. No, it was slow, calculated. She's the type who plants her betrayal like a seed, waters it with lies, and waits for it to bloom behind your back. She didn't even bother to hide the dirt under her nails. The first time I felt it, it was the silence. You know how you can sit with someone you love and say nothing, and it feels full? Not with Vanessa. The silence started to feel like a wall. She was somewhere else. Somewhere I couldn't follow. Somewhere I wasn't invited. The second time, it was the smell. She came home one night wearing a cologne I didn't own. Masculine. Subtle. Expensive. She claimed it was her Uber driver's scent. She even rolled her eyes like I was being ridiculous. "You're paranoid," she said. "You need to relax." Funny thing, though, I found the same scent on her pillow 2 nights later. But I let it go. Because that's what good husbands do, right? You trust. You wait. You give her the benefit of the doubt while she gives someone else your time, your attention, your dignity. And now? Now she was sitting next to some alpha wannabe in first class, sipping mimosas on my dime, laughing like this was some rom-com and I was the sad sap left behind. Only it's not a rom-com. It's a reckoning. And this is only the beginning. You want to know what hurts the most? It's not the betrayal itself, it's how casually she did it. Like I didn't matter. Like our marriage was some old pair of shoes she was waiting to throw out once she found newer heels. Well, newsflash, Vanessa. I'm not the one being thrown out. You are. And when you land, oh, sweetheart, when you land, your boyfriend won't be able to cover the hotel, the car rental, the 5-star suite you booked. And when you call me back, I won't answer, but I'll be watching. And that's when the real fun begins. The first thing I did after hanging up wasn't rage. It wasn't pacing or crying or smashing things like some heartbroken chump in a movie. I just sat there, staring at the empty space where her face used to mean something to me. That face used to make me feel like the luckiest man alive. Now it made me feel like a damn fool. I opened my laptop and started gathering emails, phone records, credit card statements. She was lazy, so arrogant she didn't even try to cover her tracks. The spa in Santorini didn't exist. Not the way she described it. It was a cover, something she scribbled on top of the real transaction. The hotel she booked was a luxury couples resort, not some detox hut for the girls. I scrolled through the guest list of that resort. Her name was there. And next to hers? Logan D. Reeve, 34. Works in business consulting. The new title for guy who wears loafers without socks and thinks commitment is a suggestion. My fingers twitched. That was the name I saw on one of her Uber receipts 2 weeks ago. I remembered because it stood out. She said it was an old coworker giving her a lift. Nah, it was the same guy. She had been slipping this guy into our life like poison in morning coffee, slow enough I wouldn't taste it, strong enough to kill everything good we had. I closed the laptop. My jaw was clenched so tight it hurt. You want to know the worst part? I still wanted to believe I was wrong. That somehow I misunderstood. That maybe, just maybe, Vanessa was redeemable. That the woman I proposed to under fireworks in Key West wasn't capable of this. But the truth was right there, choking me like thick smoke in a house fire. I could either sit in the flames or walk out and never look back. Then my phone buzzed. It was her. Of course it was. I let it ring. Then I answered, holding the phone just far enough from my ear to hear her voice, but not close enough to feel her poison touch me. What the hell is wrong with you? She shrieked. No more giggling now. They just cut my card, and we're stuck in Zurich. Logan had to call his ex-wife to wire us money. I smiled. It felt cold. Heavy. Zurich. I said. That's not Santorini. Did the spa move, sweetheart? She went quiet. The kind of silence that screams guilt. Then came the lie. I told you, Logan's here for a business seminar. I tagged along. It's just cheaper to book together. Don't twist things, Caleb. Twist things? I took a breath so I wouldn't say something I'd regret. Not because she deserved restraint, but because I wanted her to know every single word that followed would be measured. Final. Surgical. You used my card to fly first class with your boyfriend. You called me laughing. And now you want to play innocent? Vanessa, you can't even keep your lies straight anymore. He's not my boyfriend, she spat. He's just someone who listens. Someone who makes me feel seen. You haven't looked at me in months. You're always working. You don't touch me anymore. What did you expect? There it was. The classic deflection. It wasn't her betrayal, it was my failure. As if working to pay for her designer bags, facials, yoga retreats, and girls' nights somehow made me the villain. You know what I expected? I said. Loyalty. Respect. Maybe just enough decency not to **** someone on my dime while pretending you're at a spa. She scoffed. Scoffed. You're being dramatic, she said. I didn't even do anything with him. That word. Even. It meant she thought about it. Measured it. Probably planned it. Maybe didn't go through with it this time, but the blueprint was already written. I hung up. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't scream. I just tapped end and stared at the wall. That was the moment it hit me. She wasn't sorry. Not for cheating. Not for lying. Not for making me feel like a ghost in my own home. She was sorry she got caught. Sorry her little fantasy trip blew up mid-flight. Sorry I wasn't stupid enough to keep funding her little adventure with Mr. No Socks. I stood up, went to the closet, and pulled down the small safe tucked behind my suits. Inside it was a folder. I hadn't touched it in years. Our prenup. We signed it when things were good, when love was real and futures felt solid. Now it was the rope I was going to use to drag her out of my life. She didn't get half. She didn't even get a quarter. She didn't read the fine print. But I did. And soon, she would too. I didn't sleep that night. I laid in bed, staring at the ceiling fan spinning above me, listening to the silence that used to be comforting. Now it just mocked me. Every time that fan spun, it felt like a reminder she played me, and I let her. My phone lit up at 3:17 a.m. Vanessa again. No voicemail. Just a text this time. We need to talk. I'm sorry things got out of hand. Out of hand? Like it was a party that went a little too wild, not full-blown betrayal. I ignored it. At 3:26, another ping. You're overreacting. It's not like we did anything serious. Then 3:41. Fine. If this is how you're gonna be, maybe we should talk about divorce. There it was. The venom. She couldn't manipulate me with guilt. So now she was swinging the other way, blame, threats, false indifference. Classic Vanessa. She had two modes, sweet and savage. No in between. But I didn't reply. I wasn't going to feed her little drama script. I had other plans. By morning, I was already at my lawyer's office. I slid the prenup folder across the table. Mr. Hayden, gray-haired and sharp-eyed, opened it, scanned a few pages, and gave a small satisfied nod. She doesn't get the house. No stake in your company. The platinum card was under your name. You're covered. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. I want it done fast, I said. No room for games. He tapped the papers. With this document? She's outplayed, son. Just sign here. I'll serve her before she even lands. And that's what we did. By lunchtime, the wheels were in motion. Around 4 p.m., Vanessa tried calling again. I watched the phone ring. There was a strange satisfaction in not answering. For the first time in years, I had power. Not control power. The kind she thought I'd never find. At 6:03 p.m., she finally left a voicemail. I played it on speaker. Caleb, okay. I'm sorry. I messed up. I was stupid. I didn't think you'd find out. It didn't mean anything. I was just lost. I needed to feel something again. I swear, Logan doesn't matter. Lie. He's not even here anymore, she continued. We fought. He left this morning. Please don't make any rash decisions. I'm coming home tomorrow. Can we just talk? I didn't even flinch. She was spiraling, and it was only going to get worse. Because while she was trying to manage the fallout, I was one step ahead. I'd already cleared out the joint account, froze her cards, changed the house locks, and maybe the most satisfying of all, I'd sent her boss a copy of the private messages she'd written about working from home while actually being out of the country with another man. HR didn't take kindly to fake sick days, especially not when they came with bikini selfies from Greek resorts. She thought she was smart, but she underestimated the quiet guy, the boring husband who didn't ask too many questions. She forgot boring doesn't mean blind. And when she walked through the door the next day, suitcase in hand, wearing sunglasses to cover whatever mess her face had become, I was ready. Why are there 2 locks on the door? She said, annoyed, knocking like she still had rights. I opened it just enough to meet her eyes. You don't live here anymore, I said. Her face dropped. What the hell are you talking about? You'll find out. Check your inbox. I closed the door in her stunned face. But I watched through the peephole. She stood there for a full minute, then checked her phone. Boom. There it was, the email from Hayden and Associates. Subject line, notice of divorce proceedings. She started banging on the door like a wild animal. Are you serious? After everything? You're just gonna throw us away? Like I didn't give you the best years of my life. I didn't even respond. I didn't need to. She left eventually, but not before kicking over one of the potted plants and screaming something about, you'll regret this. I didn't. Not even for a second. Later that night, I poured myself a whiskey, sat on the balcony, let the night air hit my face. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt peace. But this wasn't over. Vanessa was vindictive. She didn't lose well. I knew she'd try something stupid. I just didn't expect how fast it would come. It started the next morning. I woke up to 43 missed calls, 12 voicemails, a dozen more texts, some apologizing, some threatening, others full-on delusional. Then came the notification from my company's HR department. Apparently, someone had sent them anonymously altered screenshots of emails that painted me as some kind of toxic, manipulative boss. The kind of stuff that gets you canceled in a headline. Claims that I emotionally abused my wife, controlled her finances, and ruined her mental health. I stared at the email in disbelief. This was her plan? Take me down because she couldn't bleed me dry in divorce court? HR called it serious, but they'd seen my record. They knew it didn't line up. Still, they had to investigate, which meant she'd bought herself just enough chaos to keep me spinning. She wanted to shake the ground under me, make me unstable, get me to panic, maybe even reach out and beg for a truce. Not gonna happen. I knew Vanessa's style. If she couldn't win with lies, she'd try sympathy. If that failed, she'd go full scorched earth. Later that day, a delivery arrived at my door. A box with no sender name. Inside, a neatly folded hoodie of mine, some old movie tickets from our first date, and a handwritten letter. It read, "You're not innocent in this either." I felt invisible for a long time. Maybe if you had just looked at me more instead of your damn laptop, I wouldn't have felt so alone. Maybe Logan wouldn't have looked so tempting. Maybe this could have been different. But you chose your ambition, Caleb. I chose to be seen. Now we both have to live with that. I held the letter in my hand, feeling every word like a slap. This wasn't an apology. This was her rewriting history to make betrayal look like a reaction, like I pushed her into someone else's arms. That's what she always did. Sin boldly, then blame you for the bruise. But something about the last line stuck with me. Now we both have to live with that. She was trying to equalize this. Like we were both at fault. But I wasn't the one flying first class with a guy she met at a networking event and later let climb into our bed while I was out of town for business. Yeah, I found that out too. I'd hired a PI. Old school guy. Discreet. Efficient. And he delivered. Photos. Dates. Hotel check-ins. One that hit me right in the gut. Logan leaving our front door, in the middle of the afternoon, a full week before the Santorini trip. He didn't just share her seat on a plane. He'd been in my home, probably drank from my glass, maybe even smiled in my mirror. It made me sick. I drove to the nearest gym, needed to hit something that wouldn't sue me. I pummeled a heavy bag until my knuckles ached, until sweat blurred my vision, until I could finally breathe again. And when I sat down, heart pounding, fist shaking, I didn't feel broken. I felt ready. Ready to be done with this version of my life. Ready to burn the bridges she poisoned and never look back. But she wasn't done yet. Because that night, she posted on Instagram. A selfie. Crying. Caption. Some people only love you when you're perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm human. But I still deserve love. The comments flooded in. Her friends. Strangers. Sympathy emojis. You'll get through this, babe. He didn't deserve you anyway. And just like that, she was the victim. The brave, heartbroken woman who'd been mistreated and abandoned. She was building her next stage, the pity play. She didn't care if it was true, as long as it got her attention. Applause. A new man, maybe. Someone who didn't know how she could rip your soul out while wearing a smile. But I wasn't going to respond. Not online. Not in her comments. Not even to mutual friends asking what really happened. I let her have her show. But behind the scenes, I was filing the final paperwork. And I was getting ready to drop the one thing she never saw coming. The thing that would silence every lie she told. Because there was one video on the PI's flash drive that I hadn't watched yet. I didn't want to, but I knew I had to. I clicked play, and everything changed. The camera was hidden in a lamp, grainy black and white footage, timestamped 3 weeks before the flight. My bedroom. Our bed. My space. She didn't know I had installed it. I hadn't meant to use it for anything like this. It was originally there because we'd had a break-in scare. But I never took it down. And now, there it was. Vanessa. With Logan. Not touching at first. Just sitting. Close. She was laughing, but not the fake laugh she gave me. This one was soft, genuine, the kind that made her eyes wrinkle just a little at the corners. The one I hadn't seen in years. He leaned in. Said something I couldn't hear. She touched his knee. Slowly. Then they kissed. Long. Deliberate. Not the kiss of two people caught in a mistake. It was the kiss of people who felt entitled to what they were doing. Like they deserved it. Like they'd earned the right to sit on my bed and enjoy each other while I was probably 10 minutes away, stuck in traffic or buying groceries for her. She stood up, unzipped her dress, that dress. The one she wore on our anniversary last year. The one she begged me to buy her after pretending it was on sale when I knew it wasn't. She wore that thing for him. And what followed? No, they didn't just lie there and cuddle. It was fast, desperate, raw. And it didn't belong to me anymore. That room, that bed, that woman, it all became part of something else. Something dirtier than I imagined. Colder than betrayal. It was possession. She didn't just cheat, she let go of everything we were. And she didn't flinch. She moaned his name. Twice. I didn't even realize my fists were clenched until I felt my nails digging into my palms. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, staring at the screen, as everything inside me went quiet. That was the moment the switch flipped. I knew then, I didn't just want her gone. I wanted her erased. Not in the vindictive, movie villain way. I wasn't going to key her car or slash her tires. But I was going to make damn sure that every single benefit she ever got from being Mrs. Caleb Warren vanished. Gone were the credit lines, the luxury gym membership, the business contacts I helped her cozy up to. I even called her modeling agency and let them know, in the kindest way possible, that one of their talents might be tangled up in legal and financial matters in the coming weeks. They dropped her before dinner. Everything was falling into place. And yet, she still didn't know I had the video. She was still out there playing victim. The next day, she showed up at my office. Security called ahead. She says she's your wife. Not anymore, I said. I let her come up. She walked in wearing all white. Probably some symbolism about purity or a fresh start. I couldn't even look her in the eye without wanting to laugh. She sat across from my desk like we were going to talk about brunch plans. I miss you, she said softly. I made a mistake. I nodded. Yeah, a mistake you made more than once. With him. In my bed. Her face froze. I leaned forward. I saw the video, Vanessa. She didn't even ask what video. Her lips parted, and I watched all the color drain from her face. That was Caleb. I didn't know you were recording us. You didn't. But you sure didn't mind being recorded by him, did you? Her mouth clamped shut. I could see the calculation happening behind her eyes, how to spin it, how to twist the narrative, how to make me the bad guy for finding out. She stood, tried to regain control. If you share that video, I'll call the cops. That's illegal surveillance. I smiled. It was my house, my property. And don't worry, I'm not sharing it. I don't need to. Just knowing I have it is enough. She tried to speak again, but I waved her off. This conversation's over. You can leave now. And next time you want to ruin someone, try not to underestimate the guy who built your whole life from scratch. She walked out slower than she came in, less confident, less smug. And as the elevator doors closed behind her, I felt something lift from my chest. Like I could finally breathe again. Like I was finally free. But she still had one card left to play. And when she played it, she came for blood. 3 days later, I got a knock on the door. Not aggressive, just firm. The kind that says, "You're not gonna like this." I opened it to find 2 officers standing there. One male, one female. Serious faces. No small talk. "Caleb Warren?" the male officer asked. "Yes. We've received a report of domestic abuse and financial coercion. We'd like you to come with us for a few questions." It hit me like a bat to the chest. Vanessa. I didn't say a word. I just grabbed my coat, locked the door, and went with them. Because I knew better than to argue on the doorstep. The female officer barely made eye contact. The male kept glancing at my hands like I might snap at any moment. The station was cold, sterile. They sat me down, asked questions like they were pulling teeth, slow, careful, waiting for contradictions. "Did you ever restrict her access to shared funds?" "She had a card. She maxed it out." "Did you monitor her communications?" "She used my laptop. I have every right to see what's on my device." "Did you ever physically threaten her?" "No. Never touched her in anger. Ever." They jotted everything down, stone-faced. I could see the wheels turning. They weren't sure what to believe. Vanessa was smart. She knew how to play the fragile wife, how to weaponize her tears and bruised ego. And I had no visible wounds, no shattered glass to point at, no public meltdowns. Just a calm, angry man with a folder of evidence no one had asked for, yet. They let me go after 3 hours. No charges. No arrest. Just a polite warning. "You may want to speak to an attorney." I already had. Hayden was waiting at my house with whiskey and an envelope. "She filed a restraining order," he said without blinking. "Claimed you're unpredictable, possibly violent, financially abusive. She's building a case." I laughed. Actually laughed. The sound came out broken and ugly. She cheated, stole, and lied. And I'm the threat. Hayden didn't laugh. He just opened the envelope. Inside were copies of her claim. Screenshots she'd fabricated. Text threads she'd doctored. Audio recordings spliced together to sound like I was shouting, when in reality, I never raised my voice. "She's not trying to win a divorce," he said. "She's trying to ruin you." I nodded. "Then let's ruin her first." That night, I made a decision. I wasn't just going to survive this. I was going to dismantle every lie, every false tear, every manipulative post she made. And I wasn't going to do it with drama or rage. I was going to do it with truth. The next day, I uploaded the unedited security footage, not to the internet, not to the press, just to a private drive, linked directly to my legal team, her employer, and her mother. Yeah, her mother. Because the one person Vanessa couldn't manipulate was the woman who raised her and who warned me about her years ago. "I love my daughter," her mother once told me. "But she's dangerous when she's bored. Don't let her get bored, Caleb." Well, guess what? She got bored. And now she was about to find out what happens when a man she thought was safe decides he's done being a doormat. I started documenting everything. Every message. Every call. Every visit attempt. I installed cameras inside and outside the house. Had every lawyered up word timestamped and archived. And I waited. I didn't have to wait long. She showed up again. This time in the middle of the night. Banging on the door. Crying. Screaming. "You're destroying me," she yelled. "You're turning everyone against me." I stayed behind the camera feed. Watch her unravel. "You said you'd love me no matter what." She stumbled. Drunk. Mascara running. That's when I stepped outside. Calm. Quiet. I said 4 words. "You already destroyed yourself." She stared at me, trembling. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. And then she dropped to her knees. She actually begged. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "I thought he was different. But he left. I don't have anyone now." "That's not my problem," I said. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. And I shut the door. Behind me, silence. In front of me, closure. But the final chapter hadn't been written yet. Because Vanessa had one last move, and I had one final answer. 2 weeks passed. Peace tried to creep back in quiet mornings, no screaming calls, no drama flooding my inbox. I spent most days rebuilding. Routines. Habits. My sense of self. The house felt like mine again, not a place where I constantly wondered who she was texting in the next room. I was starting to breathe like a real human again. Then came the envelope. No postage. Hand-delivered. Thick. Heavy. It was waiting for me on my doorstep when I got home from work. No name. Just a smudge of lipstick on the seal, a cheap red, the kind Vanessa wore when she was trying to prove something. Inside? Photos. Dozens of them. Me. At work. At the gym. At the grocery store. Zoomed in shots through restaurant windows. My face half lit by headlights as I left my office late at night. Me talking to my lawyer. Me jogging at dawn. And on the back of every photo? Little notes. He's lying to you. Ask him what happened in Chicago, 2019. Do you really know him? It was insane. Creepy. Obsessive. And it told me one thing loud and clear. Vanessa had snapped. She wasn't just trying to ruin me now, she was trying to make me question myself. Dig up anything, real or twisted, that could tarnish my name. I grabbed the last photo. A shot of me and my sister, Lily, outside her condo. Vanessa had scribbled, "You sure she's just your sister?" That was it. I called Hayden. "She's tailing me," I said. He sighed. "She's going feral. We'll file harassment charges. But if you want this to stop, you need to take away her audience." "What do you mean?" "She lives off the attention. You've cut the money. Now cut the stage." That's when the idea hit me. She wanted a spotlight? Fine. Let's shine it on her. Just once. Bright and blinding. I made a post. One photo. No caption. Just a frame from the security footage, Vanessa and Logan, mid-kiss, in my bedroom. Then I tagged her. And I waited. The internet did what it does best. People who'd rallied to her side began deleting their sympathy comments. Her modeling agency cut ties officially. Even the mutual friends who'd once tried to stay neutral started texting me. "Dude, I had no idea. She said you were controlling her. She's insane." I'm sorry I believed her. Vanessa went silent. Her Instagram vanished. Her phone went dead. And just like that, she disappeared from the public scene she used to dominate. But she wasn't done behind the curtain. 2 days later, she showed up at Lily's place. Yes, my sister's. Lily called me immediately. She's outside in the rain, barefoot, crying. Says she needs to talk to you. Says she's pregnant. My blood ran cold. No. No way. She says it's yours. Of course she did. Of course that would be her last card. Her nuclear option. I drove over. Pulled up next to the curb and saw her. Hair soaked, mascara smeared, stomach completely flat under a soaked t-shirt. No emotion. No shame. Just performance. I didn't get out of the car. I rolled the window down an inch. "If you're pregnant," I said, "get a test. I'll cover the clinic." She stepped toward the car. I drove off. No yelling. No closure speech. I'd already given her everything I had. My love. My patience. My trust. My credit. My name. I wasn't giving her my silence, too. Because that's what she really wanted now. To drag me back into her story. To make me the villain in a new chapter. But that chapter never got written. She left town 2 weeks later. Her mother texted me. She's with her cousin in Oregon. Says she needs space. I think she finally hit her bottom. I didn't respond. I didn't care. The truth was, I wasn't angry anymore. I was clean. Burned, yes. But clean. If you're reading this and you're in a similar place, let me tell you something. When someone shows you who they really are, don't blink. Don't rationalize. Don't chase. Don't play their game. Just walk away. Let them drown in the lies they built. You keep walking. There's nothing behind you worth turning around for. Months passed. The noise faded. The call stopped. Her name disappeared from my phone, my feed, my thoughts. Slowly, piece by piece, I reclaimed the space she once infected until her presence became nothing more than a stain that had been cleaned, not forgotten, just neutralized. I changed jobs. Sold the house. Moved to a quieter part of the city. A place with clean air, solid silence, and no echoes of her perfume in the hallway. The bed didn't feel haunted anymore. My reflection wasn't hollow. I woke up and actually wanted to face the day. One afternoon, I ran into an old friend, someone who used to know both of us. She hesitated, eyes wide, like she wasn't sure if she should bring it up. But eventually she asked, "Do you ever think about her?" I didn't even need to lie. No. Because what would I think about? The way she weaponized affection? The way she laughed from first class while riding on the wreckage of my trust? The way she lied until the lies stacked up so high she couldn't breathe under them anymore? No. Vanessa wasn't a chapter in my life. She was a warning label. A sign that read, not everything that shines deserves to be held. I've learned that love without loyalty is just manipulation dressed in flowers. That being the nice guy doesn't mean tolerating cruelty. That silence isn't strength when it's protecting a lie. And most of all, I've learned that you don't owe anyone the softest parts of yourself after they've sharpened every edge of theirs. So if you're out there, reading this, sitting in the same darkness I once was, let go. Let the storm take her. Let the cards fall. And when the silence finally settles, stand up and rebuild the life she never thought you could live without her. I did. And it's better than anything I ever had with her.